Hi, boys and girls, it's Shane. And if you can play a game like maybe Dungeons and Dragons, cards, a video game, you have no excuse for having bad credit. Credit is just a game. It's literally a credit score. Score means you're playing a game. And if you learn to play the game, you can have good credit just by knowing the rules and understanding how it is. So I'm going to talk to you about how to make a stack of credit cards like this and have great credit. It's very easy. You can do this. Share this with other people. It helps people. This is the video I make every month that people give me the most thanks for. So this can change your life. Let's talk about it. So credit score is calculated based on a few basic things, but one of the primary ones is the number of on-time payments you make relative to the number of bad payments. People will often say, no, Shane, I've made so many late payments, I'll never have a good credit score. It'll be years. I'm never going to be able to buy a house. That's not true. It's the number of on-time payments relative to the number of late payments. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you have one credit card, so this is your credit card, and you're late on a payment this year, your credit score is going to be trash because 1 out of 12 is almost 10%. That's almost 10% of your payments that are late. If you went to a bank and said, I'm late 10% of the time, I want a loan, they're going to say, no, sorry, we're not going to give you a loan if you're late 10% of the time. However, the same one late payment, but you have a stack of credit cards, say 10 or 15 credit cards, now you're making, with 10, 120 payments a month. If you're late on, or 120 payments a year. If you're late on one payment, that's less than 1% of your payments are late. So you go to the bank and say, less than 1% of my payments are late. Can you give me a loan? The bank will say, yeah, sure, sign right up. It's the same late payments. We've just increased the number. So increasing the number of credit cards increases the number of on-time payments you make. And I'll explain how to play that system in just a second because we're going to talk about one more thing that is very helpful to that. And that is the amount of credit you have. So many people will say, Shane, I have $5,000 I owe on credit cards. My credit's trash. I have to pay that down before I can buy anything. No, you don't. It's not the amount of credit you owe, not owing the $5,000 that's stopping you. It's the amount of credit you have relative to the amount you have available. So for example, if you owe $5,000 in credit card payments or credit card bills, you have $5,000 in debt, and you have $6,000 available, you've used almost all of your available credit. You go to a bank, nope, we're not going to lend to you. You've used way too much of your available credit. You're a terrible person. Why would we lend to you? But let's say you add 10 more credit cards to your stack, and each one of them has $2,000 on it. Now you've added $20,000 in credit to your available credit, and you have the same $5,000 because you don't have any new debt. Well, now you're using less than 20%. You're using 1/5 of your available credit. They'll, of course, lend to you. You're a great person. You are the exact kind of person we're looking to lend to. You're using a responsible amount. You didn't change the numbers at all. The only difference was we increased the available credit, and now your credit score goes through the roof, and it becomes very, very good. So this is how to play this game. And I'm going to give you step-by-steps for beginners, or if you're further along in this to help maximize your score. First off, you need to not be afraid of these things. Credit cards are tools, just like a hammer, just like a saw. If you use it incorrectly, you can smash your finger and it will hurt or injure you. But if you use it properly, you can build houses, you can build buildings, you can make amazing things. Credit cards are tools. If you use them incorrectly, they will smash your fingers and it will hurt. So we're going to get several credit cards. We're going to try to increase the number of credit cards over the next few months by 5, 6, 7, 8 credit cards so you can have several of them. Then you're going to set up something that's very small and automatically charged every single month to go to each one of the cards, like maybe a Netflix subscription, something like that. And then set the card to auto pay when its statement comes in so you never forget it. It'll always be on time. So this credit card may only be used for $10 this month or $20 for this month, and then it will be paid. At that time, you count as having an on-time payment. Also, your credit utilization is super high. If this is a $1,000 limit and you're only using $10, that's premium utilization. Everybody's going to look at you as being responsible. You do that with several cards, and in just a few months, you will increase your score hundreds of points. I get thanks all the time for people increasing their score this way. Okay, so the cards you're going to get, if you're a beginner and your credit is bad, I want you to look at the Open Sky card and the Indigo MasterCard. Those two cards you should be able to get even with bad credit in most cases. Once you have those cards, set them to auto pay with a charge that comes through until your score gets over 650 or so. Those will be the only two cards you'll need to use. Once it gets over 650, if you're starting already with over 650, it's time to start looking at some other cards. And you may get approved for some and declined for some. I recommend applying for several cards the same day. You're going to get a hard inquiry on your account, which means someone looked at your credit for the purpose of opening an account. That can cause a drop temporarily in your credit score, but that's going to be a very short-lived drop. And usually if you do them all in the same day, those inquiries will be associated together. So when I try to apply for credit cards, I'll apply for 5 or 6 and get approved for 2 or 3 that day. And then I won't apply again for a while. But that's how I keep increasing the number of credit cards that I have available. Okay? Next, after you've got your Open Sky cards and you've got these others, the cards that I'd recommend looking at would be the Double Cash, Citi, I think it's Citi Double Cash, Double Cash card. It's great. It's a really good one. And the Amazon Prime card is amazing. It'll give you 5% off on all your Amazon purchases. So it's a great card for that reason. But if you overuse it, that will become a problem. So be careful with that one. And I think it's 10% off your first year, which is a really cool deal. 10% off of everything I buy on Amazon is amazing. Okay. So now you have that going, and after a year or so, your credit score is going to be awesome, with the exception of maybe you have some collections or some past mistakes out there. So the way to fix that is with something called Annual Credit Report. Okay, go to this link, that exact link. There are many fake ones. You want to go to that one right there. Go to it, pull your credit report. You will see potentially some negative collections, perhaps a medical bill, something like that that's been collected. You can then have the information of who the debt is with, and you can send them a letter saying, I want this removed, or you can contest it on your credit report to get it removed. If they don't provide documentation that you actually owe that back to the credit reports, if they can't show the signatures, then it just goes off your credit as though you had paid it. It's great. It just goes away. If they do, then you can contact them and say, look, I'd like to settle this, and offer them an amount of money in writing and say, I'll give you, if you owe $1,000, would you take $200? That's all I can do. You would be surprised how often they'll be willing to take much less than the debt because they buy it for pennies on the dollar themselves. They will probably take a lot less than you owed and then show it as paid, and that will take that bad mark. It won't be perfectly off your credit, but it'll be no longer as bad of a mark on your credit, and your credit score will go up suddenly when you do that. Do this over time, your credit score is going to go amazing. Then you're going to be able to buy houses, then you're going to be able to buy cars for lower interest rates, and your life can just get generally better. So I hope this helps. Share it with people that might need some help.